Welcome to the Engineering Emotions and Energy Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wink. Today, I'm going to start by asking you a question. Are you who you are? Or are you who you were? So what do I mean by that? Let me relate a little story. Yesterday, I went to one of my favorite yoga classes. There's a Thursday evening yoga class I like to go to. Been going for quite a few months now. So it's always that's the same teacher. She's phenomenal. Like just great vinyasa flow with challenging moves, well guided, good music, really good vibes, and it's just always been phenomenal. Yesterday, I went and for what she just kept like mixing up the lefts and rights, was like missing cues and getting distracted. It was really strange. I was like, what's going on? Maybe she's having a bad day. And then the woman practicing to the right of me exclaims at one point, she goes, "Jeannie, you haven't changed a bit since high school." And that's when I realized that there was this high school friend, acquaintance, whatever, in the class, and the teacher would kind of gone back to however she must have been, back in high school. Maybe high school was the identity of, would mix left and right and, mess things up. And this was not who this teacher, was as far as I had known from taking, the class and being phenomenal. But to this person who had, probably known her very well, who knows how many 5, 10, I don't know how many years ago high school was for them. Um, but the teacher was effectively not being who she was. She was being not being who she is. She was being who she was back when she was around this person. And this is something, and if you're like a little lost, it's totally okay. You're going to catch up. It's going to be fine. We're going to get through this, and you're going to learn a lot and learn how to be who you are and not who you were. That's what we're going to be focusing on today, because this is a big, big, important thing. I want you to get this. Your environment reflects who you are. And if who you are still allows the possibility to be who you were, you're going to keep repeating those environments that maybe you've thought, hey, no, that's not me. Like, I I'm someone who has boundaries. I'm someone who stands up for myself. I'm someone who knows my left from my right. I'm someone who's on time. Whatever it is, if you are still someone who will allow yourself to go back to being how you were, then are you really who you are, or are you still being who you were? Or, some of this isn't being about 100%, but it's just being way more often. How you show up is a reflection of who you are, and who you are is going to reflect by the environment around you. And the environment is your physical environment, but also the company you keep. And so let me ask you, like, if you really were the person you wanted to be, would you actually be around some of these people from your past that allow you to get into that mode where you start getting into the behaviors and the feelings and the ways of being that maybe make you feel really icky and gross? So let me share with you sort of my experience in this area. And there's always the very, very uh, severe, I'll call it severe, or the very abrupt way is that if there's any person, place, whatever, where you end up behaving or feeling a way they're like, hey, this is not who I want to be. This is not how I want to show up in the world. You can always just go, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to hang out with this person anymore. I'm going to cut them out. Or, I'm not going to go to this place. Like maybe it's a gym, or maybe it's a workplace. You can always just like quit that, never go back again. That's that's totally fine. There's but for some people, there's like, that's way too much, too fast, too soon. It's like, I could, it's Christmas time. I gotta go see my family, or I I've just been going to this place so long. I gotta do this. So there's an in between. There's a middle way, right? Because that is what the Buddha tried to teach us, or one of the things was, the middle path, the middle way. Not too much of A, not too much of B, but maybe let's try option C, which is maybe something a little in between. And so you can perhaps continue to have relationships with people that you otherwise would drop into old habits, ways of being, ways of feeling that do not serve you. Yet there's a way you can modify this in how you show up, because really this is about, who are you and who do you want to be? Because if you are someone that there is no possibility that if you want to commit to being a calm, loving, compassionate person, and you know that if you spend more than 2 hours with with your family, that there's no possible way of doing that for whatever reason, then it's very simple. Do not spend more than 2 hours with your family. Period. End of story. You are then being congruent with who you want to be and who you are. And that 1 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds is going to be beautiful, lovely, enjoyable. Now, it's not going to be easy. So let me explain to you my story. So for a very long time, I would, if I was spending time with my family, my mom and my dad, sister, back when I was college, if I would go home, I would just feel like really drained and like really tired, and I would get, I don't know, I'd get sad, I'd get depressed, and then maybe I'd really need to do behaviors so that I could like soothe myself, like excessive drinking, eating bad foods. But there's probably other bad behaviors as well, but it was just not healthy for me to go home, live in the house where I grew up, and spend excessive amounts of time with my family. I love them, just I would just kind of like go back into these old ways of being. And I was like, what can I do if I go home? I have to stay with my family, right? And through working with a therapist and through doing like Al-Anon 12-step groups. If you're not familiar with Al-Anon, you might be familiar with AA. So there's 12 steps, Alcoholics Anonymous, for those that drink. Well, Al-Anon is for those that are the friends, family, or loved ones of alcoholics, to sort of help you, figure out different ways to live your life, so that you can set boundaries more effectively. And one of the things I got, working with people in that is like, well, what if you just stayed with a friend? Do you have someone else you could stay with? And yeah, I had this phenomenal friend from high school that I'm still great buddies with, and I was like, "Hey, Ed, can I? I'm coming home. You have a place to live near my house, 2 miles away. Is it okay if I stay at your place instead of my parents' house?" He was like, "Yeah, that's awesome. I got an extra bedroom. Would love to have you. We love hanging out with you." Um, and yeah, did it annoy the shit out of my parents? Did they feel hurt, or did they feel injured, whatever? Yes, they 100% did. And so it was a tough conversation. But what's the alternative? A lifetime of succumbing to obligation where I'm treating myself badly. And the thing is, when you treat yourself badly, you end up treating others people badly. Because one of the things that I've 100% believe is that people do not treat anyone else any better than they treat themselves. I've seen this in personal relationships. I've seen this with coworkers. So it's some of the times it's like, man, this person just was trying to work me to death. They want me to be in weekends, work late nights, and they're just a perfectionist. Look at how do they treat themselves, because I bet you that person is also up late nights, working weekends, also demanding perfection out of themselves. So they're probably actually treating you better. They're treating you about the same as they treat themselves. So I always look like, well, how does this person treat themselves? What are their own standards? Because that's what they're going to hold me to, and that's how they're going to treat me. So if I see someone that's how they are, I would not want to work under that person. I would avoid them. I would do whatever it takes to not work under somebody like that. So you really need to treat yourself really well. Treat yourself like you loved yourself. Because if you loved yourself, would you put yourself in a harmful situation? And then, especially if you know that it's harming yourself and it's harming others, because you're here to help people. If you weren't here to learn how to help yourself and help others, you wouldn't be listening to the show. Period. End of story. Sorry, you just if you're not into that and you're listening to this, I don't know why you're here, but send me an email, podcast@justinwink.com. Let me know why you're here. If you, I guess, hate people. So, but anyway, you love people, you want to help people, you got to start by loving yourself, and that's setting boundaries. And it can be something like, hey, I just I really want to stay with this friend. You don't have to frame it like, no, it's because hey, you're an asshole and I can't stand being with you more than 2 hours. It does. that can be true, but you don't have to express that truth to the other person. As long as you know what's true for you, you can express things in a kindly manner of, yeah, I really appreciate it. I love it. I don't, I just, my friend invited me and I really want to stay at his house. And, so this gives me a way to be able to spend some time with him and then, spend time with you and enjoy things. And, maybe we can try some different activities, just mix things up. So that we can really enjoy our time together, because we have brief times about together. So it's really how you have these discussions, and if you are firm and and there's just some things you don't even have to explain, right? Someone can say like, "Oh, but I really want you to stay here." "Oh, that's really great. I really appreciate that. I'm staying with my friend." "Oh, but I got the room all ready for you. I've got breakfast planned out, and I got late night snacks all ready for you, your favorite. So it's already set up for you." Oh, that is just so delightful. I really do appreciate that. I'm going to be staying with my friend though, and when I'm over, I'm looking forward to enjoy those things. But I got to stay with my friend, so it's just what's happening. So usually people don't like to go more than 3 rounds with that because it just people don't like to repeat themselves. They get bored of it. They get sick of it, and they'll just sort of move on. And again, remember, there's a reason why you're setting this boundary. So if somebody really gets freaked out and gets really angry, it's going to hurt. You're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, this sucks. We're getting in a fight and I think they're angry and whatever." And maybe they don't even want to see you anymore or have you over. Think about it. Is that actually that bad, considering that you are not getting to be the person you want to be around this person anyway? So maybe the worst thing ends up being the best thing, and you just get that space and break from that person. And because you are now showing up as the person you want to be, and your environment is going to reflect that. And it's could end up being that your environment doesn't include some of these people that have been in your life for a long, long time. Yet maybe that's really what you want. Maybe that's what you need. Is you need your life to no longer include these people, not in the same ways as you used to, not in the same amount of times. And maybe that's okay. Because the other thing is, and I've learned this time and time again, is that when a person, project, object leaves your life, that is the opportunity for something new to come in. If your life is completely full with whatever you've got in it, there's nothing room for anything new. And if you're like, "Justin, my life is phenomenal, there's nothing else I would want," then you're fine. But if you're saying to me, "Justin, I really, I would really like to, have some better health. I would really, really like to, have some better friendships. I'd really like to get into some better activities. Oh, and my job, like, oh, geez, it's mind numbing. I hate it." Then you, you got to start letting some space into these things for things to replace that, right? Because, sometimes if you're not reducing the amount of time you're working a current job, how are you ever going to spend the time to, do the applications, do the interviews, things like that? So sometimes it can be hard, it can be painful, yet how painful is it to not do anything and to realize that that time is ticking away and the amount of time we got on this planet is so limited. It's so limited. And do you want to get the most out of your time here on Earth? I was filling out a questionnaire, and one of the questions was how long do you want to live? What age do you want to live? And I know the person who reads this is going to be like, "Oh, you're being a kind of a dick," and that's okay. But my honest answer is, I want to be on this planet until I'm satisfied that I've done whatever I feel like I want to do, and that can seem kind of like a bummer because like, well, why would you want to live forever or live to 100 or whatever? But it's kind of like I'm 40 years old now, and I look back, and there are just some things that I've done in my life where I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I have no interest. Like when I was like up through age 12, I loved watching cartoons. I loved the shit out of me some cartoons. Saturday morning, that stuff was awesome. Like I was just like I could not understand how adults did not like cartoons. I was like, adults are so dumb. They don't get that, the Gummy Bears and DuckTales and these great cartoons from the late 80s, early 90s, that this is entertainment. But then, I found myself 15, 16, 17, not watching cartoons anymore. And I was just like, I had no interest. And there's been other things in my life where I'm just like, I don't have any interest in. So I totally foresee, if I'm doing life right, if I keep learning my lessons and going on the things I want to do, be with the people I want to be, and then, growing, having digested that I could totally see at some point I'm just like, you know what, this adventure on this planet, I'm good, ready to go, and then just be done. I don't know how long that's going to take. Could take a long time. Who knows? But well, every day I want to be, am I getting the most out of this life? Am I being who I want to be so that I can have the environment that allows me to, continue to grow, continue to serve, continue to love? And if I'm not, then I got to be the person that is going to, do what it takes to have the environment that allows that. So that's what this episode is about, is what area of your life, you know, are you actually not being the person you need to be so that you can live the life you want to live, where you're serving, you're loving, you're feeling abundant, you're getting to enjoy your time on this earth. And if you're not in those situations, what can you do differently? And again, it doesn't have to go to the extreme like, hey, I'm just going to be, cutting people out, screw you, I'm never going to see you at Christmas, New Year's, whatever holiday it is. It's how you do it. And then how you communicate it to those people, where you can have your boundaries, you can have your space, where you are the person that doesn't just be like, that person who's never changed, that you're just like how you were in high school. Because, I, maybe high school is fantastic for you, but for me, I was so happy to be out of high school. And there's some people that I went to my 20th high school reunion was it last summer, and seeing some of the people that I knew, they had a great time in high school. They don't look like they're having a great time now. So I'm having a great time, and I keep having a better time, and that's what I want you to have. So if you got any questions, email me, podcast@justinwink.com. Hit me up on social media. Justin Wink, Ph.D. on Instagram, on Facebook. Also find me on the LinkedIn. If you got any, questions, again, the email is podcast@justinwink.com. If you love the show, tell a friend, rate 5 stars wherever you can rate this podcast. And I'm doing a workshop June 13th, 11 a.m. If you're in the Sacramento area, at the Meadow in Placerville. It's called the Perfect Life Meditation Workshop, where I will teach you how you can start to transform your life to be less stressful, more energetic, and lived from the heart in as little as 5 minutes a day. So this is, taking all the stuff I've learned in my meditation explorations, teachings, yoga from the 15 plus years, and I've boiled it down into simple bite-sized ways that you can use a little bit every day, because it really is just like working out, good nutrition, a little bit every day is going to do wonders, So if you are in the area, hit me up on that. And with that, take care and good day.